Okay, Assassinate17 again, and I'm doing my second video in the series of what power supply is, how it works, all that. This is the back of a power supply. You can see it's well ventilated. You got your power port there where your plug will go, on-off switch, and this switch right here controls the amount of voltage it receives. So you, I can't remember what the individual letters are, but mostly on power supplies nowadays you either don't see a switch or you see one that would be able to choose between 230 or 115, and you want to make sure it's always set to 230. Well, if you're in Britain, that is. I can't say for other countries. You can see it's really well ventilated, lots of ways there to get out, and we've got a fan grill, big fan, and I don't see any other ventilation apart from on the other side where the wires are. Little more ventilation there, and on one side you'll always see that your power supply has some information on it. Like mine says I've got a 500 watt with a 12 centimeter fan on top, and it's an ATX power supply, and there you see all the little bits of information that you need. Now so you see that fan's 12 centimeters there. So an interesting thing you can always do is, if your power supply ever breaks like this one, you can always salvage the fan that's inside and then hook it up into another computer and use that. So it's not always a complete loss when a component breaks. But let's go through the wires. You can see a hugely thick bundle of wires here with lots of cable ends. So as I showed in the first video, this is your 20 pin connector for your motherboard power. And then we've got our secondary, another 4 pin that goes in another port on the motherboard. And this one, this 6 pin, is what's known as a PCIe power connector. So if you've got a really high powered graphics card, you might need this connector, and it might plug into the card to provide the fan with power, etc. Now this is a SATA power cable. This is what will power hard drives, well, the modern ones. And yeah, this one's only got one of them. Most of them have 2 now. This one here is what's known as your 4-pin Molex connector, and this will power your standard CD drives. You've got some hard drives, older ones, the ID hard drives might be powered by this. A lot of fans are powered by this type of connector, a lot of fans. And then as a last couple of connectors, right here we've got this connector, which also might power fans. I cannot remember what this connector is called, I just know it's a 4-pin. But I know that this powers stuff like a floppy drive is powered by this type of connector, and some fans powered by that sort of thing. Now I'm just going to pause the video while I unscrew power supply so we can have a look what's in it. I'll be right back. Okay then, so this is what it looks like unscrewed. I've got my fan grill unscrewed and the outer shell, the power supply. Interestingly, these are the screws that held the fan in place on top of the shell, and these can be used to just about install any fan, and I haven't been able to come across these screws very much. But you don't need to use these ones, these are just some pretty good ones. But we see here the big 12 centimeter fan that keeps the power supply cool, because it's one of the hottest components in the PC. That's why it requires so much cooling, but it doesn't have a heatsink or anything like that. See, we've just got a 2-pin wire holding it in to a little bit of PCB. Just going to take that out. There we go. So a little 2-pin connector there. And if you're ever doing this salvage thing, you should be aware that mine had like a little bit of glue sticking it down. And so this is what it looks like inside. We've got a little bit of PCB, some big capacitors. Let me just show you the other way. Big capacitors. Now, the biggest warning I can give is do not touch any metal bit or even unscrew it while it's on, because I was stupid enough to have it turned on, but I've left it on by accident, and I touched this metal bit here, and oh my god, it gives you the shock of your life. It is the most, it was just very painful, and you never do it again once you learn your lesson. But this is what it looks like inside. Now I'll just put all this screws stuff aside. I'll show you how it corresponds on the motherboard. So, got a motherboard on our power supply. Our 20-pin connector, make sure you know that there's a little clip here that will help hold it in, and also you can see on the side that there's like a little nozzle on the end of these 4 pins. That's where your extra 4 pins would go, it would clip into, but pretty standard. Make sure it's clipped in. That goes in, and then where's my 4 pin? That will go in over there. That's that, and that's your motherboard powered, pretty much. The rest of the power connectors, that one will go to CD drives as discussed. This will go to hard drives. This will go to floppy drives, and this will go to any graphics card or sound card that needs a bit of power in. So that's it for the power supply video. Again, just please don't touch the metal bits inside when it's live. I know it sounds like a common sense thing, but yeah. Next video I'm probably gonna do something on graphics cards. So I'll see you then.